has us where he does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see his goodness and his mercy, how his grace covers me. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Many are the plans of man, but only God's plan will prevail. Don't be weary in well-doing. All you have to do is keep going. Have faith and believe, and know one day you'll receive all the blessings that's for you. He is going to see you through. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror. Gotta go where God leads. Where God leads. Gotta shine so people can see. They can see. Gotta go where you are. Where you are. Know that God will keep. He will keep. Gotta go where God leads. Where he leads. Gotta shine so people can see. They can see. Gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta go where God leads. Where God leads. Gotta shine so people can see. They can see. Gotta grow where you are. Where you are. And know that God will keep. He will keep you. Go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are. Where you are. And know that God will keep you.
Hey, how's everyone doing? We want to welcome you to the Taskeka Green Show. Dr. Taskeka Green, turning dreams into realities. Today, we're standing in for her, and we're your hosts. I'm James Green.
And I'm Cynthia Green, and we are founders of Marriage Built to Last. And we are
America's favorite couple.
Yes, I want to thank my girl, Dr. Taskeka. I'm telling you, we are sisters from another mother. We are the part of the same Sisters for Sister Network organization. And so we've been connected for a while now through our organization and through our business endeavors. And so we've just gotten connected, and partnered together. And I just want to thank her so much for thinking of me and trusting James and I enough to host her show today. So she wasn't able to be here, so we're standing in for her. So we're going to help you turn your dreams into reality.
And I just would say, we don't take this lightly, because she trusted us to run her show for her. And I always say opportunities, they don't go away, they go to someone else. So when the opportunity comes, you should jump on it, because you never know where that opportunity is going to take you. So she gave us an opportunity, and we jump right on it. And so we're going to try to take this show to a whole different flavor, a whole nother level.
Right. I mean, this was very unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But, like James said,
yeah,
we were prepared. We were prepared, especially when she told us what she wanted us to talk about, which is our passion. So, you heard us say that our company is Marriage Built to Last. So guess what our passion is? It's marriage. It's love. It's relationship. It's husband. It's wife. It's anything to do what God has destined his children to do in the marriage entity. And so we are talking today about investing in love and getting a return on your investment, right? And so you guys know how it is. You know, we're going to have a money expert come up. But you know how when you invest your money, right, you want to see it make money for you. If you put your money in a drawer, I say you got $100 bill and you stick it in the drawer. Oh, like I forgot. I got $100 bill sitting in the drawer that someone just gave me for our upcoming event. I need to put it in the bank. That's funny that I said that. I just remembered. So, but anyway, it's sitting in the drawer. It's not going to do anything for us sitting in that drawer. It's just collecting dust. But when I take it to the bank, and if I let it sit there, guess what? That $100 bill is going to make more money and more money and more money for me. I won't go into that anymore because we got a guest coming on in a little bit that's going to talk about that. But what I do want to say is it's the same way when you invest in your love.
That's right.
If you invest in your love, I promise you, you're going to see a return on your investment over and over and over again.
So you wonder, what does that look like? Because, you know, you invest in homes, you invest in stocks, you invest in bonds. So what does that look like investing in love? Because investment and getting a return on that investment is nothing but investing so you can receive profits back. So if you invest in love, what profits do you think you will receive back? More love? More admiration? More affirmation? Think about that for a minute. So what you need to do is make sure you invest in that love. Because we always say that if you keep giving and giving and giving, your tank will be empty. So you have to be able to receive back, to fill that tank up, to fill that love tank up.
So those of you who are watching, tell us right now how you invest in love. We want to know, okay? How do you do it? Share it with us, and we'll give you a few shout-outs on it. How do I do it? No. Oh, goodness. Let me tell y'all, I invest in my man. I invest in the love in my relationship. Oh, my God. There's so many ways I can name. First of all, he loves a good home-cooked meal, okay? So I make sure I cook for the brother, okay? Even when I don't feel like it. The other way is I know that he loves to watch sports. I give him that time. I allow him that time. I don't harass him. I don't give him a hard time about it. I don't talk about him to my family, friends, or even to him.
Right. And why is that important? Because you know that if you start talking, I'm not really paying attention. See, that's another thing. You want that your spouse's full attention. And if that person is interested in something else or paying attention to something else, you won't get his full undivided attention.
And that's why we're going to talk about the first way that you can invest in your love in your marriage. It's by giving your spouse presents. And guess what? We're not talking about presents. Right. We're talking about presence. Your presence. Being in his space. Being in his presence. Okay?
Because I was just going to say, baby, a lot of times, you know, people or couples aren't in each other's presence. You know, they go out and do other things and they're not there for them. Because a lot of times you may feel that, I feel like I'm in this relationship alone because you're not present. You're not there for them. And that's what we're talking about, being in his presence, being there for them, being their support, being their guide, helping them out whatever they need. Because what does it say? This is my help me. Mm-hmm. So she's there for me whenever I need help.
That's right. Because when God created Eve, what did he say? I'm going to make a helper comparable to him, who's suitable to him, to help him. What was she going to help him in? Whatever it is that God called the two of them to do together. We won't go into it today, but James and I, we believe that every couple has a vision and a purpose for their marriage. Do you know what yours is? I want you to think about that for a moment. But when you're in someone's presence, it means that you are there together. Amos 2:2 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So if you're in each other's presence and you're doing things together, you should be walking in the same direction, because how are you going to get to that, the bank to invest your money, or get that, that place to invest in your love, if the two of you don't know where you're going and how you're going to get there? Right. So you got to be in agreement on the direction that you're heading in order to get there.
And that's what I like when she talks about agreement, because I always look at Psalms 133. Where there's unity, that's where God commands a blessing. And that means coming into agreement. It means it's nothing you pray for. It's nothing you have faith for. All you have to do is agree. And that blessing is commanded on your marriage. So just think about that for a minute. All you have to do is come into agreement. Should the two of you agree? Yes. Where are you going? Are you agreeing when you're going to the same place? Like I say with vision, you have to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. You have to see where your marriage is going. You have to see where you want your marriage to be. Just like family, you got to see where you want your family to be. You got to see where your children are going. Or you have to see it before you see it, before it manifests, before it comes to pass, or you will never see it, or it will never happen.
Right, which takes me to Habakkuk 2 and 3, where it talks about write the vision and make it plain so that those who run it can read it, can run with it. That's the first part. But the second part I really like, and I cannot quote the whole thing, but it talks about that it will manifest and that it will happen in the end. Like it will, God knows the end of the thing, okay? He knows where you're going and how it's going to manifest. And if you just trust him and believe in him and do what he says, it will manifest. I'm going to look that scripture up for y'all during the break. But let's talk about number 2 is edification, right? The second way you can invest in your love and invest in your spouse is through edification. James always tell people, he says, my spouse always says you should be your spouse's biggest cheerleader, right? Because I believe in that. He didn't know about that before we got married. So I'm telling you guys, I'm sure James can testify that I've always encouraged him. I've always pushed him. I can see things he's capable of that he doesn't necessarily see. That's what we're supposed to be for our spouse. I tell people that you should want your spouse to have the greatest life that they could ever have on this earth. And guess what? You are a conduit to that. You are the biggest person that can support them and push them into that destiny, into that place that God is calling them into. And so edify your spouse, encourage them, support them, say positive things to them. Respect is a part of that edification.
That's good, because you got to remember, when you edify them and when you build them up and they start growing, you're right there with them. You're growing together. So where are you going? If you're not growing together, then what are you doing? You're growing apart. So the most thing you should do is build that person up, encourage that person, push that person, because you're in this together. And like I always say, that when you have somebody by your side that's pushing you for greatness, they're going to be great also.
I know you guys are liking what we're saying, right? So what we need to do, make sure you're hitting that share button and sharing this broadcast out, because there is somebody out here who needs to hear what we're talking about today. Not just what we're talking about, but what our guests will be talking about today. We're going to be talking about blended family. We're going to be talking about financial planning, investing in your finances, making your money grow just like you make your love grow. So hit the share button so that your friends, your family, those who are out there following you on your page can hear what we're talking about. You don't know whose life you just may change. So number 3, you have to be an informed couple. And how do you do that? Through education. We're not talking about going to college. We're talking about just doing those things to help you get the knowledge, the tools, the information that you need to help your marriage be amazing. Because I'm going to tell you, James and I, we do believe that every couple can have an amazing and great marriage. We really believe that. We've got friends who have great marriages. We got some friends in the room right now who have great marriages. Yes, I'm several, right? And so we believe that. But guess what? They're doing the work. They're doing things to get them there. And the first thing, of course, is building your spiritual life, right? Reading the word, praying, meditating together. The thing that drew me to James is the way he worships.
Oh, no.
You know, it's the way he worships, the way he loves the Lord. So if you're not spending time with your spouse, you don't know how he prays and what he's believing God for. So when you pray together, you get to hear your spouse's heart. The other way you get education is through reading books on marriage and on relationships that can help you to get more knowledge and tools. And then our favorites is going to marriage conferences, retreats, and workshops, and your church's marriage ministry and things of that nature. And so that just leads us into, we want to tell you a great opportunity for you to invest in your love right now in the next 2 weeks.
Come on.
And if you're in the DMV area, but we really, you know what, you can be all over the world and still come out, because last year and all the previous 3 years, we've had people come in from all over the United States. And so, and watching from all over the world. So this, in 2 weeks, on June 14th and 15th, we're going to be celebrating our 4th annual Couples Fest. Right? Y'all, you guys are like, what is Couples Fest? We would love to tell you about Couples Fest and what it's all about, right? But we just want to let you know that it's a way that you can invest in your love. It's a way that you can invest in your marriage. And even if you're single, it's a way that you can invest in your singleness if you have a desire to be married. Because guess what? We got a whole single section for you that where you can come and get information. But we firmly believe, too, that if you're single, you should be preparing to be married before you get married. And that's the way that you have a great marriage. But for Couples Fest, if you come out, it is a festival where you will have lots and lots of things to do. We have 14 different subject matter experts in the relationship industry that will be teaching you guys. We have a whole financial section where we'll have everything from our financial planner who's here with us today. We have realtors. We have an attorney that will be doing wills and estates. We have travel agent. We have a CPA. I mean, we have even a funeral planner to help you plan for the future for your family.
Right. And that's the key when you talk about being informed. Because I know, say for me, growing up, we were taught you don't air your dirty laundry. You don't go seek help. You suffer in silence. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what we were taught growing up. Because I know I used to be that person. I used to be, I'm not telling no stranger my business. I'm not going to talk to nobody. What I need help for? You know? But I thought I was doing it the right way, and I wasn't. You know, and let's be transparent. I ended up getting divorced because I thought I could do it my way, and my way didn't work. So what did I have to do? I had to get informed. I had to get that knowledge. I remember when Cynthia and I first started dating, she sent me a book. And the book was How to Love a Black Woman. And I'm like, okay, what you think? I don't know what I'm doing. So I was being smart.
Yes,
so I sent her a book back, How to Love a Black Man.
He sure did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
All that did was inform us on how we are as individuals and to help us to grow together. It also made us informed. And when she talks about information, that's what you do. Try to get the most information you can about the subject that is clear that you need. You know, and we needed a subject. Well, I did. Come on. I need a subject on marriage, how to be married. So start reading and getting information. Educated me on how to be a better person, how to be a better husband, and how to raise a better family. And it's funny that we have experts here today on blended families. We're a blended family. Mm-hmm. And we did it the wrong way. Let me tell you. And we needed education, information on how to do it the right way. And we didn't get it. We didn't have it. We did it the wrong way.
Right. And at Couples Fest, you will get that. Our subject matter experts will be specializing in one particular area.
Subject matter expert?
Yes, SMEs, as you call them. James calls them SMEs, right? Y'all know you always got something smart for everything, right? Forgive me, y'all. My husband has a great sense of humor, but it's a good thing. But we have a subject matter expert, and they have a key word that they will identify with at the conference. And guess what? We're going to play a game that's going to lead you to their subject matter that they're experts in. I mean, it's going to be fun. We're doing a scavenger hunt, you guys. And and you know the other thing, when you come, you're going to not just invest in your love, but we have a way that we're going to invest in you financially too. But you got to be there for you to know what we're talking about. We're going to be giving you some money. How about that?
Just think. When you go to a car show, you could buy a sports car, you could buy a luxury car, you could buy a minivan. Come to Couples Fest. You can get educated, you can get blended families, you can get communication, you can get intimacy. Come on. All the things you need for your marriage, for your relationship, even when you're single, getting educated is going to be a Couples Fest.
All right. So we'll tell you a little bit more about Couples Fest in just a moment. We're going to go to a break. We're going to bring up our first guest. You guys get excited. We're going to be talking about blended family with the Mangums, and we will introduce them just as soon as we come back in just a moment.
Go.
All right, I am Tony Mitchell, and I'm joined by my beautiful wife,
Samita Mitchell.
and we are in the mix with the Mitchells. As you can see us every Thursday on VoxWave.com. Every Thursday night at 9:15, and we're here at our event. We run a nonprofit organization called Alliance Project, and we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary. So make sure to tune in every Thursday at 9:15 on VoxWave.com for In the Mix with the Mitchells. See you later.
See you next week. Thank you.
Many times in our lives, we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Many are the plans of man, but only God's plan will prevail. Don't be weary in well-doing. All you have to do is keep going. Have faith and believe, and know one day you'll receive all the blessings that's for you. He is going to see you through. You gotta go where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. Greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. I am an overcomer. I'm more than a conqueror.
Welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Taskeka Green Show, turning dreams into reality. And we want to welcome our special guests. We're going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle, and we are the Mangums.
Come on.
All right now.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you guys for joining us
yeah.
today. We haven't seen them in a while, so it's really exciting to see them today. Yes.
Absolutely.
They are such a fun couple to be around. Their energy is always so positive. They are on fire for the Lord, first of all, just like we are. So we just appreciate that in them. And then they're on fire for the marriage.
Right.
And you know, they are a couple who cares their heart for other marriages, but their specialty is blended families.
Yes.
And so we're going to have them share with us why blended families is so important to them.
Well, thank you. First of all, you guys are amazing, Cynthia and James, and thank God for this Dr. Taskeka for allowing us to be in this space today. My wife and I, we have such a love for marriages, and most of all, blended families. I am a third generation blended family, maybe fifth and sixth now, because our daughter, Tiffany, married into a blended family. And so we have blended family babies and grandbabies, and you know, we love the blended family. But we really want to let you know that we are so excited because we believe that the blended family marriage can soar to greatness. You have to understand how valuable you are. Understand that all of the negative cliches doesn't have to fit your space, regardless of where you came from. And so we really enjoy.
And one of the things that caused us to get into this is because, first of all, we have a great blended family. But we were meeting a lot of millennials who didn't want to get married because of what they saw their parents go through. So, you know, we had to change their mindset. We were like, oh no, you know. And I mean, you know, if we keeping it real, you know, all the principles of God, the devil doesn't like them, and he's attacking them. Right. And so we have to come back. We have to come against him just like he's coming against us.
And so go ahead, babe. So investing into your blended family requires both adults before the children. one of the things I do as a senior pastor and founder of Imagine Me Family Worship Center, when I counsel with couples that are getting in a blended family, I first of all give them 2 criteria. First of all, you have to believe that God has placed you into this relationship even before you get married. Because a lot of times people get happy, they get excited, you know, that person may have a child, that person may have a child, but you got to realize that God is the glue. My wife always said God is the glue. And so what I tell them, I need to have counseling sessions with you as the adults and your children. And if they're minors, I like to have premarital counseling with the parents. But if they're older, we need to sit down and have a session so we can give them some navigating tools. I wrote a book entitled Blending to Make It: Ingredients for a Successful Blended Family. And I talk about 3 things in this book. I talked about, first of all, principles: practical, therapeutic, and spiritual principle, which spiritual is really the key. But the reason why we love the blended family is because we recognize that when you look at the earth today, 1,300 blended families being formed every day. So regardless of the community you're in, you're going to be going into a blended family. You know, you may not have one, but what we tell people, first of all, you got to go into the blended family with the heart or the mindset is to serve. Serve your non-biological children just like you serve your bio. Now in the 21st century, they say bonus. Right. But I believe, I have a little struggle with that.
But if you're going to use that word, be a bonus.
Be a bonus, be an asset.
Yeah. Don't be a wicked stepmother or a wicked stepfather.
And so one of the things we often tell couples that are in the blended family, that regardless of what has happened in your history, you can be the change agent, if you will, to turn it towards love, happiness, and the ability to cooperate with one another and to have compassion and to have clarity. We want to talk about, real quick, we want to talk about communication, because we think it's important, investing in your love.
Essential.
And we want to talk about clarification. You have to be clear about what you're talking about with everybody in the family. Number 3, we want to talk about commitment. Because a lot of times we get in relationships because we love, you know, you have, I don't mind, no mean offended, a pretty woman like her, Cynthia, and a handsome brother. You know, when you look at them, you see that these 2 people are just incredible. But what I'm saying, though, we're living in a society where the superficial mindset has created an environment of false sense of security. So first of all, we talk about communication. One of the things I think that while marriage is so on fire for God and so wonderful is because we talk about everything. I mean, everything. We don't let nothing go by that we don't have a communication about. Absolutely. Because what we realize, first of all, as believers, the person that don't like us is always trying to get through miscommunication or misunderstanding of the communication. So we tell people, if you want your blended family to soar, you have to have the availability to not only to communicate, but to listen. Go ahead, babe.
And we always encourage everybody to have a love shop. We call it a love shop. So what you do is you take your family. You can do it however often you want. You can do it once a week. You can do it once every other week. You can do it once a month. Take your family, sit them in a circle if you can, form a circle. And just let everybody have a ball. And just put the ball in one person's hand and say, okay, now you're talking. While you're talking, nobody else is talking. Whoever has the ball is the one that's speaking. Once they're done, you know, just getting out whatever they need to get out, then it goes to the next person and goes all the way around the room. Once you do that, then you know where everybody stands, what everybody's thinking, what's going on with them, you know, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. It should be a no punishment zone, okay? Respectful, of course, you know, you want the dialogue to be respectful, but it should be a no punishment zone because, you know, you want them to be open. That's the whole purpose, is for them to be open and honest. And then once everybody gets that all out, then turn it into a fun night. Turn it into a family fun night.
That's interesting you said that because I remember when we first was getting married, her mother said to me, "Are you ready? You know what you're getting prepared for?" And there was a movie, I think it was Tyler Perry, where he holds up the sign, "Don't do it, she has 2 kids." So her mother asked me.
She said, "You know she got 2 kids."
And what was funny, we didn't do what you were talking about, that love circle. But afterwards, we did it at the dinner table. We went around and we let every person talk. And we really found out from our children how we did it wrong. What we did not do, you know, and preparing them.
And I think one of the reasons why the Love Shop, God gave us this concept, was to create an environment to where communication can be talked about and also displayed, where the young people had a voice. See, in society today, we have to be very careful in the blended family, not to stop your kids, whether they're bi or bonus, from speaking. Because you got to realize something. I always like to, I do this a lot. I like to say, let me put myself, if I can, in their space. They're coming into a new blended family system. They may not like the new mom or the new dad. First of all, they left their home, they left their school, they left their friends to come and live in this new family system. And they're dealing with some stuff emotionally and psychologically and just trying to get through some of the challenges of being in this new home, being in this new system. And so that love shot gives them opportunity. First of all, we tell them, you set the ground rules. Here's all the rules of engagement. This is going to be a no punish zone. We're going to talk with respect and love. And we're going to end in love and fun. Now, they may not buy into that right away. But if you are consistent with that, consistently show that you love, one of the things my wife and I, we really press the pedal on is showing love. Now, I'm not trying to be too deep, but the Hebrew word for love is hasid, which simply means it's a supernatural, unencompassing love that goes beyond what you are accustomed to. And I'm telling you something, blended family kids coming in bonus or rather biological, they really want to be loved. They really want to be understood. And so sometimes we don't do that. So this love shop allows them to come in once a week. And what my wife and I said, what she didn't say was that we think for the first love shop, let the kids pick the food. Maybe they want to order pizza, maybe chicken wings, maybe curly fries with cheese. And if you're adult and you struggling with that, get you some Pepto-Bismol, have it right by, so you can be able. But the whole objective of this is to create that environment, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel valued, because coming into that
and make them feel like they're a part.
So, Dr. D,
yes,
why do you think people struggle so hard with blending the family? Like, what do you think the mindset is, or what's holding them back? Like they're marrying this person, they know they're going into a blended family. Why do they struggle? Why is it so hard for them?
Well, one of the things I think is the reason why it's hard. Number one, they don't get premarital counseling
for
them or their kids. Those are two things I think. Number three, we need to understand that when you are going into a blended family, whether through death, divorce, and you're remarrying, there's a loss. We need to deal with the grief avenues of everybody involved, because they're grieving. Let's be honest. Most psychologists said there's a death when there's a divorce or a change or a situation this detrimental or traumatic. There's a death. The parent is not there, and all kids still love their parents whether they're not together or not. And in their minds, they really want to get back together. But to answer your question, we don't deal with anger. That's one of the stages of grief.
So true.
And we don't deal with the other stages, like we're trying to bargain and all the other things that come along with being broken. And a lot of times the parents are broken and they're marrying into a broken situation. And we don't do anything healthy to get better. So what we do, we carry the Samsonite into our emotions, our brokenness, into this. And you got to realize something. Kids are sponges, whether they're 2 or 16. They're sponging up all of this pain and anger, and they're angry.
That's right.
Mom and dad, and then you don't tell them why y'all not together. You might take one swell swoop, if you will, and just say, we leaving. We're moving.
So that's one of the pieces is
Well,
that. Go ahead.
Just to piggyback him, another thing I think is when, we always say don't play favorites. You got, you already bonded with your birth child.
Right. And the biological child's going to be the biological parent naturally.
Yes. Naturally, they already have that bond. So your job as that bonus parent coming in is to be a mentor. You know what I mean? It's not to come in with an iron fist. It's not to say my way or the highway. It's not to be rude and angry and you know what I mean? Like, so both adults have to talk. You can't, because we even we had to deal with one of our shows, we had to deal with a grandmother who was going to the school. Now, all 4 of the kids went to the same school. She was only picking up her biological grandchild and leaving the other one. So then one of the parents had to go and pick up the child. I said, now y'all should have told her, no, thank you. All right. We'll pick all 4 of them up.
That's right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
So
like
let me
that.
ask you a question. Is
Don't
it?
forget your
Kids
question,
don't
Cynthia. I'm
understand
sorry.
that, and that's not. Kids are not mature enough to handle that adult stuff. You know what I mean?
So,
Go ahead,
so
James. Go
when
ahead,
we
bro.
got married, my children were older. I guess in their 20s. And she had a teenager and then one 10 or 11. Which is harder, whether it's girls, boys, like 10 or below, teenagers or 20s? Which is
great
more
question.
difficult?
Great question. There's some major statistics out there that says the younger the child is, the easier for them
That's
to
what I was gonna
adjust.
say.
Absolutely.
Because a part of their
Absolutely.
psyche has not already been built. They're still in a loving
That's
mode.
right.
They may not understand. That's why, it's a lot easier to adapt. But another remedy too.
And they're more receptive.
Another remedy for that is that if you are a new mom going with a new husband, then and that husband has a child, that husband has the right to tell you what your child likes or dislikes. Because you got to give them some precursors about
That's
your kids.
right.
Because the bottom line is that in order for the blended family to really soar, is that you have to cultivate the relationship.
Absolutely.
And most blended family, or most psychologists say, normally takes 3 to 6 years for a blended family to mesh. It depends on the maturity of the couples, the
right.
maturity of the kids. And when you have older kids, their personalities and most of their mindsets have already set. They've already chosen
That's right.
non-verbally who they're going to be allegiance
whose side
to.
they gonna take.
And but see,
That's
what we
right.
do, that's why you have a love shop, or you have something similar to let them know that everybody is of value. And that's why, like you always say, Cynthia, about the teaching and the training, when we get the information and we apply the information, which I call navigational tools, to allow your blended family to soar and change the trajectory of your family just existing to excelling. And I
so good.
and I think a lot of times we don't realize the things that God has given us with our kids, whether they're your biological kids or not. My wife and I always say, throw blood out the window.
Throw it out.
Because you know what? Let's keep it real.
Once y'all get married,
Blood is
that
gone.
blood is out the
We don't
window.
care about blood no more.
they're your
right.
kids.
They're your kids. They're not, and I know some people struggle with stepkids, and you make the choice on what you want to call maybe daddy one or daddy two or dad or daddy or mom. You choose that, but that only comes from, I believe, through a humble and focused cultivation of the relationship
Absolutely.
and showing kindness and love. And again, don't come in here. Go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
that's so important. So I wanted, before you guys go, I wanted
Yes.
you to tell people what they can expect to hear from you guys on how to invest in love through their blended family at Couples
Couples
Fest.
Fest.
Because these are our subject matter experts
experts.
on blended families at
Our
Couples
SMEs.
Fest. So what can people expect? Are you guys doing a small group that evening?
We're gonna do a small group that evening.
And-
we're gonna sit down and listen to you. We're gonna give you navigational tools. My wife is gonna share some things with some mothers because she is an incredible bonus mom.
Oh, wow.
She's
Guys,
a
I
bonus
wanna be in that
grandmother.
group.
she's a bonus grandmother, and she have dropped so much stuff with grandmothers to tell them how to treat their non-biological grandchildren and keep them on the same. And the last thing I will say is that we want to serve you. We're coming there to lay stuff on the line and keeping it 100, because if you don't keep it 100, people will have this false sense of security that everything in the blended family is either smooth or it's rocky. But I believe in balance, so we're going to meet you in the middle. So what's ever rocky, we about to make it smooth. And what's ever smooth, we're about to make it like silk.
So what are y'all most excited about with Couples Fest?
We're excited about being there with you and all the people and all the SMEs. Let me tell you something.
SMEs.
The SMEs. I know about SMEs, but we got to go. But my wife and I, we really are excited because we get a chance to change the mindset of what people believe their blended family
That's so
should be.
good.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
if we can leave somebody better off than when we met them.
And that's
That's
funny
what
because
counts.
that's what we always say. If we can change one marriage, one relationship, we've done our job.
That's
Absolutely.
right. So we want to thank you
you.
guys
Yes.
for joining us today. We can't wait for you to share at Couples Fest. Yes. And we can't wait. Y'all, you got to go to their session. So
Yes.
at Couples Fest, that's another piece we didn't tell you about. When it's over at 4 o'clock, You can sign up while you're there at Couples Fest for different small groups that will happen that evening from 7 to 9.
Right, and you can get some personal
one-on-one time.
Exactly.
And small groups or one-on-one time with the SMEs, the subject matter experts. So they're going to be there. If you're a blended family, you want to come and get that time with the Mangums. So come on out. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got another special guest for you.
We sure do.
Rick Entertainment, the hottest DJ in the DMV area. CEO of Step Your Game Up in the Youth Project Show. The DJ on the Heartbeat Congo Hour and sound engineer for a variety of bands. DJ Rick Entertainment is your #1 company for all your stage and sound event needs. Call 202-749-7903. That's 202-749-7903. DJ Rick Entertainment.
In our lives, we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta grow where God lives. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God lives.
Welcome back, everyone. We are having so much fun today. We have some amazing people in the studio. And, you know, it's nothing like being around great people with a great spirit. So we have another special guest here today, you guys. We're getting ready to talk about investing in love through your finances. And we have Michi Jeffers here today. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about her and her company and what she does.
Well, greetings and blessings. I am really excited about the fact that you asked me like last night. And
well, I got you. We just found out about it, but that's all good.
But it was an opportunity. It was a door, an open door. And the Lord says, see, when I open a door for you that no man can shut.
That's right.
So on this new journey here, I am just honored to be here in this room with a lot of wonderful people. So I'm just thankful to be here. Okay. What I will share with you is that I am retired Air Force, 26 years and 6 days on the books.
Thank you for your service.
And I'm also a breast cancer survivor.
Awesome.
And this is my next journey right here. I promised the Lord that whatever doors of opportunity He opened for me, I would walk in. And this was one of them that I did not expect. So last summer, a good friend of mine happened to be sharing with me about financial literacy. And my husband and I, we had always said that we wanted to know more about investing, but we were not active in doing that. So here I am retired, and I said, okay, well, the workshops are free. I'll go and check it out. If I don't like it, I don't have to come back. No harm, no foul. And here I am today.
All right.
They started giving me information that I'd never heard of before. Came into the Air Force as a child, came out a full-grown woman, and they were sharing information with me that I had not heard of, and sadly, a lot of military members will not hear of. So I can tell you that, as you already know, that finances is one of the major hindrances or a blessing to many marriages. So it is very important for both husband and wife to be on the same sheet of music. And a lot of times that does not happen.
Absolutely. So we know that there's 3 top reasons that couples struggle with, and top 3 reasons why they get a divorce. And they are communication, finances, and sex. So it's really important that we talk about this topic, and that's why we always make that a part of our conferences, workshops, and retreats that we do. And so this year at Couples Fest, Michi is our financial planning expert, okay? So she's going to have some really great information for you. So Michi, tell us a little bit about your company, what types of things that you can help people with in their finances.
Okay, well, I'm a part of an awesome organization called WFG, World Financial Group, and I am based out of the Greenbelt office, and we teach people something very basic, financial literacy. which is teaching people how money works and how to make money work for them. So we want to shift the mindset. Instead of always working for money, but being in control of your money and making your money work for you. And there are 4 basic elements to money: making it, growing it, saving it, and protecting it. And that's what we take pride in teaching people about money. So we offer free, F-R-E-E, financial literacy workshops. Yes. And you also get, I'll show you this. These are the books that you get. They are free. This book right here is really, really awesome. It has basic information in there from...
Is that our copy? We get to keep that?
If you come to the workshop, but you can keep it. Okay. And we even have it in Spanish, too.
I'm just an avid learner and an avid reader. I probably know most of this, but I just love refreshing my knowledge and just learning some new tips and tools, because the world's ever changing.
Right.
And you come to Couples Fest, you may know about investing. You may have a good savings account, a good financial plan, but you never know what you may hear. And like Michi is saying, it's a free workshop that they offer you. So always be open in your marriage, in your relationship, to hear whatever it is that God is saying in this season, right? And so right now we're talking about finances. And why is finances such a big problem in marriages? Do you want to give us your opinion on that right now?
I will, and I will tell you the biggest problem with finances in our marriages is that we are carrying over past practices from the generations before us.
Ooh.
Generational curse.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. So that is the problem. You have a husband and wife, and the husband feels that he should be the owner of the finances, but he doesn't know anything about the finances. You have a wife that is willing to learn about financial education to help build a financial future that's strong. And the husband is going to be the alpha male and wants to buff up and say, no, we got it. I'm taking care of it. I don't need to know anything. I got it under control. Well, if you got it under control, why do you have these bills? If you have it under control, why do you have personal loans? If you have it under control, why are you in debt with credit card companies? And one interesting thing that I learned, this is also my other opinion, is that we don't understand interest.
Compound.
Yes. So the rule of 72.
That's right.
Albert Einstein said this: compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world.
Oof.
He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So the companies out there, credit card companies, the vehicle companies, mortgage lenders, all of these companies have mastered the art of compounding interest over us. So whenever you come into a large payment that's going to be for so many years, guess what? There's a rate of interest with that.
That's right.
So that rate of interest does not go into your pocket. So I think that if we got a handle on what it really means and understanding compounding interest and how we can make it work for us, better than the banks, because the banks are only going to give you maybe 0.010%, maybe 0.025%. There are some out there that give you more, but there are other types of financial entities that will give you more at a higher rate of interest, 5%, 6%, 8%, 10%, and so on.
Let me ask you a question. So I know we talk to couples and they say they want to live happily ever after. But when you hear that term, happily ever after, it's happily ever after what? Happily ever after, I lower my debt. Happily ever after, I get my finance together. What would you tell couples who want to get married and they're saying, well, I have to get my finances together first?
Very good. What I would tell people who want to get married is this, and the brother, he alluded to it earlier, premarital counseling. Because one of the things that will come up is finances.
That's right.
And what I have learned from my own pastor, he shared this with me, and he said a lot of times when he brings up the issue on finances, they'll shut down.
That's so true.
And they'll literally say, you know what, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And a lot of times it comes from, again, what we've seen growing up. You may have some women that they might have come from an abusive household where the mother stayed in that household. I know I'm telling the raw truth here, but I have to tell it. And a lot of times they'll see that. And as a result, when they grow up, they're like, I don't want any man controlling my finances. I don't want anybody telling me what to do with my finances. I'm in control. and it becomes a huge problem. So a lot of times we don't want to deal with that issue.
That's so true. And then I also think that the reason why there's so much trouble in the relationship because of finances is because people always say because couples don't talk about it. But they can't talk about it, they're not educated on it. If you got two people talking about finances and neither one of you are really educated on it, that's going to compound it and even have even more problems. Yes. That's why they need financial planners like you, financial literacy experts like you, people who can sit down with them and look at what you have and show you what you can do with what you have right now. Yes. You know, James and I, we were talking to a couple recently who was saying they're not going to get married until they get out of debt. Well, good Lord. When
is that going to be?
If you in deep debt, that might take you 3-4 years. But even if it's going to take you 1 year, 6 months, there is good debt, right? Isn't there such a thing as good debt?
So here's what I would tell you. My husband, I've been married 25 and a half beautiful years.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo, woo,
Yes. And we are a retired Air Force family, so he was in the Air Force as well. For a long time, my husband, he was the one that handled finances. No problem at all.
Well, let me ask you a question before you continue. Was he better at handling finances than you? Because a lot of times couples don't know that whoever's better at it should handle it.
She alluded to that a little bit earlier. She getting to it. She's getting to it.
I love my boo, but he did need some help.
See, it happens.
But here's the thing: it's joint. It's him and I. We are one.
That's right.
So what I realize is that we had income coming in, but where is it going? So for me personally, a challenge was, I know the money is coming in, but where is it going? So a lot of times it helps when you sit down with someone with a financial literacy background and they literally write down your figures, your annual income, your additional income, your rental income, your mortgage, your other debts, car loans, auto insurance, life insurance if you have that, which people should. That's another subject and another time. So when you see the figures on paper, it makes a difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, James and I, we're not financial experts, but part of our coaching program, you know, you have to look at every piece of the relationship, and finances is one of them. And the assessment that we give them to do, finance is a piece of it. We don't go into financial coaching at all. We always refer them to a financial expert, but we do tell them the exact thing that you just said.
Wow.
Write down all of what's coming in and write down all of what's going out, and compare it and see what you can do to come up with a budget and a plan. People don't like that word budget, but do you know how many people have never done that? They have no idea of what both of them are actually bringing in, and they definitely don't know exactly what's going out. You know, they're going out to dinner, they're going to the movies, they're going to the concert, and they're spending, and they don't even have any idea how much they're actually spending.
That's true.
And you know, and they're in debt and they're arguing over money and this, that, and the other. But if you just stop and take a moment to just think about, just look at it. You could probably come up with a way to balance everything and not be in the struggles that you're in or have the arguments over it that you're having.
That's correct.
So let me ask you a quick question. Why is it that between the husband and wife, the person that makes the most money always wants to control it?
Control.
That's a good one. Well, a lot of times when people make more money, they feel like they are the leader. They get to be in charge because they're matter of fact, I'm going to tell you.
But sometimes if the woman makes more than a man, he feels some type of way because she makes more now. She's bossing him around. Well, I make more money than you, so you should be listening to what I'm saying.
And you know what? And that goes back to counseling, because that's a pride thing.
That's right.
And that is something that needs to be nipped in the bud. That's a pride thing. It has nothing to do with money. That's just a spirit of pride.
We only got a couple of minutes, but I do want to say this. I have a friend right now getting ready to get married, and she makes more money than him. And she said to him, look, I don't want to be the one to carry the load. You've got to do something. You know, we got to fix your resume, help you apply for some jobs, making more money, because I don't want to carry the load. What would you say to that?
they definitely need to communicate.
Well, they are communicating about it. He agreed.
About it, yeah.
And I understand if you agree, you agree. But my thing is, when you get married, you are one. It shouldn't matter who has the most money, because even if your money's not all going into the same pot, you know, like when James and I got married, he made more money than I did, and I made a pretty good salary, okay? But we just made a decision on, you know, who's going to pay what. And we basically kind of stayed with the bills that we both already had, and then talked about the new bills we were creating by buying, you know, having our new home built, how the mortgage was going to be paid. You know, people got to come up with their own plan. So if he make less money, give him some bills that make a difference, and let him pay those bills, and then you pay those other bills until he can get.
But I truly believe in one bank, not having separate bank accounts. You know, you keep your money, I keep my right.
We have separate bank accounts,
right? But we have one together.
Of course, and our names are on all of them. But I don't believe that you got to put all your money into one pot.
I'm saying strictly. Yours is yours and mine is mine.
Oh, no, not that one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, not that one. But we do believe that couples can come up with their own plan on how they do their money. Either we got friends who are all in one pot. They don't care. Ours could easily be all in one pot. I don't care. He handles the finances. I could care less. You know, as long as we can eat and pay the bills, I'm good. I don't need to know every little detail of what's going on with what. You know what I'm saying?
But I always fill her in.
He does. He'll be like, you know, when you looked at the bank account lately? No.
But you know what, too? In a marriage, people have to be comfortable.
That's right.
You can't worry about what's going on in the world, what society says, how it should look like. This is something between you and your spouse.
It's called communication.
That's right. So you all have to be comfortable with whatever the arrangements are, especially financially. There are some men who stay home and the wives go to work. They're okay with that.
Absolutely. Well, Michi, we want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing with us your heart. We're going to take a quick break because we've got our host, the hostess with the mostest here, who's going to come in and share with you guys at the end. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Love you so much.
We look forward to seeing you at
Couples Fest to share with the couples on how to get your finances.
Y'all need to come because she's going to help you with your finances.
That's right.
Yes, indeed.
Times in our lives we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep you. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta...
Well, look who's here. How about that for a flip of a show? Did you enjoy the show today? Well, let me tell you, that's exactly what Turning Dreams into Reality is all about. It's not about the Taskeka Green Show and platform. It's how can we help each other, build each other up, help each other to maximize the greatest things that's inside of them so that people can see. Because I always say you are somebody's answer. Somebody is waiting for you to start so that they can finish. So listen, today we had a great show with the wonderful co-hosts Cynthia and James Green from Marriage Built to Last. And they had some great people with us today, the Man Gums and Michi with the financial literacy. Listen, today was all about marriages. And I tell you, every time I sit with you guys, I learn so much more. And I'm so much grateful and ready to go back and, you know, just do more for my husband. And as soon as I walked in, everybody usually sees my husband with me, right?
That's right.
So goes, where's your husband?
Y'all
I'm like, home.
He's home. Like us, right?
He's actually texting me because the AC went up, and so somebody's still working on it. But I do want to take a few minutes just to read something, because today we're also celebrating my daughter's 9th birthday, which is such a blessing. I tell you, if you only knew, I always say people see the promise, but they they don't see the process. And what I had to go through infertility and, taking medicines to keep my pregnancy viable. And then they thought she had Down syndrome. And then she was diagnosed with this. And she is a 2-time author, kidpreneur, twice exceptional child, beautiful. And I'm just thankful because that's a blessing. And I want to read something because when I wrote my first book, To Everything There Is a Season, my husband and I were going through some troubled times. He had just lost his mother in 2009. My mother had informed us that she was sick in 2010. I was pregnant. And in my book, I had wrote this, and I just want to read this really quickly. During this time, my husband and I fought to keep our marriage viable. Some days, quietness encircled our home and coldness slept in our bed. In the midst of the silence, there was tension and stress. We both wanted the peace that surpasses all understanding. Our hearts were troubled and our minds were inattentive towards one another. No one would have ever known. We looked and acted one way in public, but another way at home. We both prayed day and night that God would mend our minds, hearts, and draw us closer once again. For he needed me just as much as I needed him. For we were each other's strength, and we vowed to love each other no matter what came our way. My husband and I were going to weather the storm or test, especially this one. Wow. And we were in church one Sunday, and I was sitting on one side of the church, he was sitting on the other side of the church, right, wow. James? And he had came over there and grabbed my hand. It was December 2016, and grabbed my hand. And I'm like, no, what is he ready to do? The preacher was preaching. Wow. And he came, walked, and grabbed my hand. I said, what is he ready to do? And I took his hand, and I dropped my head in embarrassment. Like, this man ready to embarrass us in front of church. And when we got to the front of the church, my pastor said, what y'all doing up here? And my husband said, I want prayer. I want prayer for our marriage. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay. And so my pastor began to pray, and then he began to prophesy. He said, your marriage will not end in a divorce. It will be a demonstration for others to see God's grace, love, and mercy. And you know what the Bible says in 2 Chronicles 20? It says, believe in the Lord God, so shall you be established. But believe in the prophet, and so shall you prosper. Yes. And to this day, I'm still standing on the word of the prophet of my house and my life, Bishop Donald Anthony Wright.
What I like about that so much is that he took the lead.
Yes.
He came to you, took your hand and went down there and prepared because he felt he needed that.
Yes. If he had been walking in embarrassment too.
Yes. Wow. So I leave you with this quote today. That happiness is not what you think it's supposed to look like. Happiness is start living the life which God designed for it to look like. Listen, thank you for joining us today. You better sign up and register for Couples Fest, June 14th and 15th. I'll be there.
That's
I'm excited.
Right. She's on one of our
You're going to see some of these great people in the house. So go and register as soon as you finish. Listen, thank you. Join us every second Saturday of the month from 3 to 4 on Vox Wave. Turning dreams into reality. And
the website is www.couplesfestexp.com.
Yes.
See you there.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Many times in our lives, we sit and wonder why God has us where He does. A living sacrifice to be an example to the world, so that everyone can see His goodness and His mercy, how His grace covers me. You gotta grow where God leads. You gotta shine so people can see. You gotta grow where you are and know that God will keep.